The survival of a world depends on your deliveries. Prove that your airship is worthy in Solenia. Welcome to Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Melissa Delp.
And I'm Kevin Delp. Solenia is a hand and resource management game with a modular board for 1 to 4 players, and it takes about 45 minutes to play.
It's designed by Sébastien Dujardin and illustrated by Vincent Dutrait. It's published by Pearl Games, which is part of Asmodee, and they sent us this copy to review.
Let's look at the components. There's game boards, player boards, airship, cards, tiles, resources, tokens, and more.
In Solenia, you play 16 rounds. Each round, the players are going to place a card onto the board to activate a spot. You're collecting resources, delivering those resources, and moving the giant airship. You do all of that to gain gold stars. Whoever has the most stars at the end of the game wins. During setup, you'll place the airship on the middle strip of the modular board. It represents either dawn or dusk. Each player will have their own colored player board. The summer side is suggested for your first play. You also get a deck of 16 cards. Draw 3 for your starting hand.
On your turn, you'll play one of the 3 cards from your hand onto the game board. If you play next to the airship or one of your other cards on the board, it's a free placement. If you play farther away, it costs a resource for each space you skip.
Your cards have a number on the top, 0, 1, or 2. When you play a card, that's how much of the resource from that space you get. So here, I would get 2 stone. Your ship has room for only 8 resources though, so you're going to need to make deliveries.
When you play on a city space, you collect stars based on your card value, and then you deliver goods. The current delivery options are available on the different tiles. If you play your card on a day city, you have to choose a day tile, and on a night city, a night tile. If you can't fulfill a delivery tile, then you can't play a card on a city space. When you place a delivery tile on your player board, it has to go on the leftmost spot available, and you'll get a bonus for placing it in the different spots.
When you play a 0 card, you don't get any of the resources on that space, but you do trigger the airship. It moves forward 1 space, and all of the cards on the bottom strip of the board are resolved. The owner of the card gains the bottom reward, usually some resources, or a point if the card's on the matching island spot. Then you flip that strip over and place it at the top of the game board.
At the end of your turn, you'll draw back up to 3 cards in your hand, and at the end of 16 rounds, all your cards are gone, and the game is over.
Then it's time to count up the points.
You get points from your gold tokens, your delivery tiles, and a point for every 2 remaining resources.
You also gain points for each pair of day and night delivery tiles. When I first heard about this game having a rotating or conveyor belt mechanic to it, I thought maybe it was the resources on your player board that were falling off, but it's actually the game board that's rotating, and I think that really fits into the theme of the game of one hemisphere always being day and the other one always being night, so certain resources are very scarce. In the nighttime, there's hardly any wheat, and in the daytime, there's hardly any water. So it's your ship that is rotating around the planet, delivering the needed resources to the different hemispheres.
I find it really interesting that throughout the game, you're moving from day into night, back to day again, and so on throughout the game. So it's really about timing. Can I get the right resources and deliver them at the right time?
Yeah, there was one game where near the end, I had finally gotten all the resources I needed to fulfill a 9-point nighttime tile, but there weren't any available nighttime cities for me to play a card on. So I was really hoping someone would play their 0 card to advance the board and flip a new tile over, but that didn't happen.
The space on your ship for resources is limited, so if you ever get too many, you might have to dump some overboard to make room for the ones you really need.
I've enjoyed playing the game with 2, 3, and 4 players. With the higher player counts, it seems like the ship is moving faster and it's a little harder to anticipate when your cards on the bottom tile are going to activate and give you those rewards. I might want to make a delivery first so I clear out some space on my ship, but if someone else plays that 0 first, then I end up getting some resources that I don't really have space for.
I like trying to play my cards at the right time and try to figure out what other players are going for. I do remember at the beginning of one game, I had 3 zeros in my hand, which means the ship is going to move. But if I place my card on any resources, I can't get any resources because it's a 0 card. And I couldn't even place it on a place to deliver resources because I didn't have any resources to deliver yet.
So what you want to do is place it on that bottom tile to activate the reward. If you want more variability, you can play with the winter side of the player boards. It has fewer spots for resources, but allows you to place the delivery tiles a little differently. You can choose to place them in either of the level 1 slots first, and then one of the level 2 slots, and then one of the level 3 slots.
And some of those slots have powers that you can activate, like always having one of a type of resource, or ways to get endgame points.
You can also add in the improvement tiles when you play with the winter side of the player boards. During setup, players draft a level 1 tile and a set of level 3 tiles. The level 1 tiles have powers like making your 0 cards worth a value of 1, fulfilling delivery tiles in either type of city, and adding another storage space and treating resources as other resources.
The level 3 tiles are all about points, gaining stars from types of goods, making certain types of deliveries, or even cards that you still have on the board.
Personally, I like the winter side a lot better than the regular side because of the added variability and even the extra decisions you have to make. It starts with that draft. Which tiles do I want? And then, even if I have the tiles, they're not activated until I put deliveries into their slots. So how quickly can I do that? And can I plan a strategy that really works well with the endgame bonus tiles that I have?
And I might have a completely different strategy based on the tiles that I draft. So the winter side, especially with those improvement tiles, adds some more asymmetry to the game.
Now I finally get to talk about the illustrations and aesthetic of this game. Vincent Dutray did a beautiful job with the designs of the islands and art on the cards. I really like the decision to make a hole in the middle of the card. It creates a unique experience for the players.
We've played this with a number of our gaming groups and people were able to pick it up easily, especially that summer side. It's fairly light and it's accessible. Once someone has played that version of the game, it's easy to convert them to the winter side. If you have experienced gamers, you might be able to start right on the winter side, but the new players might have a few handicaps with understanding the timing aspect and then the value of those improvement tiles during the initial draft.
For me, the winter side makes the game worth buying. So if you enjoy hand and resource management games, maybe a better term would be pick up and deliver, then check out Solenia from Pearl Games, and we'd love for you to subscribe to Tantrum House.
Got it. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think.